Mom said, "Don't bring your kids, they're too loud for Christmas." My daughter whispered, "Grandma hates us?" I smiled, "No honey, Grandma forgot who feeds her." I texted, "Understood." They kept sharing photos of the table I paid for, not knowing what surprise awaits them. 3 weeks before Christmas my mom called me, not to check in, not to ask how the kids were doing, but to tell me flat out not to bring them this year. She said they were too loud. Too wild. She didn't want them running around, interrupting conversations, grabbing things, asking questions, making a mess. Said it's just too much. She wanted a peaceful, adult-only Christmas this year. A mature atmosphere. I didn't say anything at first. I just let her keep talking like she hadn't just insulted my children, her only grandchildren, to my face. Like she forgot who kept that entire holiday alive the past 5 years. So I reminded her. I reminded her who booked the private chef. Who paid the decorator. Who ordered the custom-made dining table and matching chairs she loved to show off on Instagram. Who covers the catering, the gifts, the booze, the cleaning crew. Who made Christmas happen after my dad's money dried up. He brushed it off. Told me not to take it personally. Said she just wanted one Christmas that wasn't chaotic. I glanced over while I was on the phone. My daughter was in the living room with her little brother, sorting ornaments by color, humming. She wasn't doing anything wrong. She was just being a kid. After I hung up, she asked if she did something bad. I told her no. She asked if Grandma didn't want us there because we weren't good enough. Then she asked, "Does Grandma hate us?" I crouched down and told her the truth as gently as I could. I said, "No, baby. Grandma doesn't hate us. She just forgot who feeds her." We packed up and left. No drama. No shouting. I just sent one message before driving off. Understood. That was it. By Christmas Eve the family group chat came alive. Photos poured in. The table I paid for was perfectly set. The wine I ordered months ago? Opened and poured like they picked it themselves. My sister posted a boomerang of everyone raising a glass. My brother posted the turkey. My mom had someone take a photo of her standing in front of the fireplace like she was queen of the house. Not a single message to me. No "we missed you," no "where are you?" Just radio silence like we didn't exist. Like my kids were nothing but background noise they were relieved to mute. They had no idea what was coming. See, years ago when my mom begged me to help her get back on her feet, I made the mistake of tying her into my business. She wanted something to feel proud of, something to brag about to her friends. I gave her a co-ownership title, mostly honorary, and linked her to the business account. She never handled inventory, never dealt with payroll, never managed a vendor. But she had access to the funds. And she used them. Regularly. Hair appointments. Luxury groceries. Self-care retreats with her friends. Even a bathroom renovation she did last year, as an investment in her mental space. She was used to it. Entitled to it. What she didn't know was that I'd had enough. The moment she told me not to bring my kids, the moment my daughter stood in front of me asking if her grandmother hated her, something switched in me. So I met with my lawyer. And while they were laughing over that dinner, that table, those candles I paid for, my mother's phone was sitting on silent, just waiting to buzz with a notification she never saw coming. The business account was empty. Completely legally emptied. Transferred. Closed. And she didn't even know yet. Dinner had already started by the time her phone lit up. I wasn't there obviously, but I knew exactly when it would happen. I'd scheduled the transfer for 6:15 p.m., right when the main course would be served, when everyone would be settled around that expensive table, laughing and sipping wine I paid for. She always kept her phone next to her plate, like she was waiting for someone important to call. I imagined the moment clearly, her seeing the notification pop up on her lock screen. Joint business account. $0 available balance. I pictured her frowning, unlocking it, refreshing. Then refreshing again. I imagined the silence as the numbers didn't change. The way her smile probably dropped, the confusion on her face turning to panic as she scrolled through the activity. Dozens of scheduled payments canceled. Auto payments denied. Access revoked. And then the yelling. She must have stood up right there at the table because my brother's girlfriend sent a photo to the family chat 10 minutes later. No caption, just the kitchen in the background and my mom nowhere in sight. Right after that the chat went dead. At 6:31 my phone started ringing. It was her. Then my dad. Then her again. Then my sister. Then her again. I didn't pick up. Then came the text. What did you do? Call me now. This isn't funny, Judy. You had to know, right? We're in the middle of Christmas dinner. You're ruining everything. I'll fix this, just call me. Don't do this to your father. I turned off my phone and went back to watching a movie with my kids. We had ordered Chinese food. My daughter was curled up next to me, passing me fortune cookies like it was our new holiday tradition. She didn't ask once about my mom. The next morning I was up early making pancakes when I heard pounding at the door. I knew it would come to this. I opened it and there they were, my parents. My mom looked like she hadn't slept. My dad didn't say a word at first. She was already yelling before I could even step aside. Told me I was cruel, selfish, a spiteful, bitter woman who destroyed her own family's Christmas. I didn't flinch. I just told her the truth. I said, it's my business. You're not part of it anymore. You don't have access. You don't have rights to a cent. From now on you'll have to work for yourselves. She slapped me. Right across the face. My daughter saw it from the stairs. Then my mom screamed something I'll never forget. You'll regret this, Judy. I swear to God you will regret this. But I didn't regret it. Not for a second. My dad tried to calm her down but she stormed off. He just stood there in the doorway for a few seconds looking like he wanted to say something. But he didn't. He followed her back to the car. They drove off. By New Year's the silence was deafening. No more texts. No calls. No pictures in the group chat. My parents didn't even try to reach out again after showing up at my house. They went quiet, too quiet for a family that thrives on appearances. That's when I knew things were unraveling behind closed doors. The business account they depended on wasn't just convenience. It was their lifeline. Turns out my mom had been using that account for everything. Not just spa days and grocery deliveries, she had linked it to the mortgage, the property taxes, even her credit card payments. My dad never paid attention to any of it. He thought the money was coming from the business doing well. It was. But it was doing well because I was running it. Once I pulled out, the entire system collapsed. By mid-January, I started getting emails from vendors asking why they hadn't been paid. My mom had apparently tried to continue placing orders using her old credentials. They were all declined. Staff she'd promised bonuses to were quitting. The storefront was empty. She couldn't even log into the back-end system. I'd locked everything down. Legally. Permanently. It wasn't theft. It was business. She had no ownership, no stake. Her name was there for optics. The contract said it all, and I had them in a drawer signed and sealed. Then the rumors started trickling in. My sister's husband called me out of the blue, asking if I'd heard about mom and dad refinancing the house. Said something about them taking out a second mortgage. I pretended not to know anything. Just listened. Let him fill in the gaps. Apparently they were scrambling. Creditors were calling. One of Dad's friends mentioned he'd tried to sell a classic car he swore he'd never touch. My mom had canceled her country club membership. Quietly. No announcement. It was all falling apart. And still, no apology. Not even an acknowledgement. I wasn't surprised. My mother is the type who would rather starve in silence than admit she made a mistake. But I kept waiting for my dad. He always went along with her, but deep down he knew better. Or I thought he did. It wasn't until February that I finally got the message. It came on a Thursday morning. February 6th. I was getting the kids ready for school when I saw the email notification pop up on my phone. The subject line just said, Judy. It was from my dad. No attachments. No dramatic title. Just his words. He told me he didn't know. That he never realized how far things had gone. Said he thought the money was coming from the business growing, that I was thriving and we were thriving. He thought mom was helping, that she was pulling her weight, doing her part like she always told him she was. But then Christmas happened. And the days after. He said when I left that day, when I took the kids and walked out, he figured I'd cool off. That we'd talk. That it would blow over like everything else in this family. He didn't know the account was already gone. Didn't know mom had maxed out the last credit card trying to keep the illusion alive. Didn't know she had lied to him about the store being fine. He said he sat with it for a while. Quietly. Tried to fix things. Thought maybe he could patch it all together before anyone really noticed. But he couldn't. The hole was too deep. They sold the car. The lake house was next. Then the real blow, they had to list the house I grew up in. The one they swore they'd die in. The one my mom had redecorated every 2 years like clockwork. As if a new chandelier could solve a rotting foundation. He told me he wanted to apologize. That he was sorry for staying silent. For standing beside her that day at my door and letting her speak for both of them. For not defending me. For letting it get that far. But he also said something I didn't expect. He said he understood why I did it. That he would have done the same if someone had made his child feel the way my daughter felt that day. He said he still hears her voice sometimes. That small voice asking if Grandma hates her. That's when it hit him, he wrote. That's when he realized what they'd done. He ended the message with, "I hope someday you'll forgive us. But if not, just know I get it. I really do." I didn't respond right away. I needed to sit with it. Because even though it meant a lot to hear those words, to finally have one adult in that family say what needed to be said, I also knew it didn't change what happened. And Mom? Nothing. No call. No message. No apology. Not a word. She didn't just double down. She buried herself in her pride. She started telling people I hijacked the business. That I betrayed her. That I was always jealous, always difficult, always selfish. She made herself the victim in a story she wrote with her own hands. But here's the thing. People talk. And eventually the truth starts leaking through the cracks. The family that once took her side? They're quiet now. The ones who toasted over that table I paid for? They're not posting anymore. And the store? By March, the house had a for sale sign in the yard. My sister drove by and sent me a photo, no caption. Just the image. White wooden sign, tilted slightly in the frozen ground like even it was tired. The porch lights were off in the middle of the day. That house was never dark before. My mom used to keep it lit like a showroom. They didn't move in with anyone. They couldn't. Nobody offered. The same family who drank my wine and sat at my table suddenly had nothing to say. They weren't posting, weren't inviting, weren't visiting. Because when the money stopped flowing, so did the loyalty. I wasn't surprised. What did surprise me though was how quickly my mom tried to pivot, not to me but to others. She started telling people she was retiring from the business world, and that they were downsizing to focus on peace. She framed the house sale as a personal choice. My brother told me she even claimed they were planning to travel the country by RV. But word got out. Vendors started talking. Former staff posted on Facebook about bounced checks and unpaid invoices. And once people realized she'd been living off a business she barely touched, the narrative turned. And still, not a word from her to me. Nothing. My dad tried. He sent another email in April, shorter this time. Told me they'd moved into a small rental outside of town. Said Mom was adjusting, and he was picking up consulting work again. He ended with, "We'd love to see the kids sometime. Just the kids if that's easier." That part stung. Because he meant well, I know he did. But he still hadn't fully grasped what this had done, not just to me but to them. You don't get to exile children from a holiday, then ask to see them when it's convenient. I didn't respond. Instead, I took my daughter out that weekend and let her pick out whatever she wanted for her birthday party. Pony rides. A cotton candy machine. She wanted everything pink, sparkly and loud. It was chaos. Beautiful, joyful chaos. And not once did she ask about Grandma. She didn't mention her. Didn't look for her. Didn't even seem to notice she wasn't there. That's when I knew. The damage wasn't mine to fix. The distance wasn't my burden. My mother had cut herself out and now she was just living with it. That spring the business grew. I hired new help. Opened an online store. Rebranded. Quietly. Finally. The name changed. The energy changed. Everything got better the moment I stopped trying to carry people who were dead weight. By June the house was sold. They took a loss. I didn't smile when I heard. I didn't gloat. I just moved forward. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction. It's silence. It's removal. It's success without them. By summer it was done. The house was gone. Sold for less than it was worth. My dad confirmed it in one last message. A quiet note saying they'd finally closed and that he was sorry. I didn't answer. There was nothing left to say. You can only apologize so many times before the words turn into noise. I never heard from my mother directly. Not a call, not a text, not even a passive-aggressive comment through a cousin. She disappeared into her pride like it was armor. I think in her head she still believed she had the upper hand, that somehow I'd regret it, come crawling back, ask her to be part of our lives again. But I didn't. Because what she never understood was this. I didn't cut her off to punish her. I cut her off to protect my kids. She drew the line. I just made it permanent. The business flourished without her. Clients I didn't even know she'd pissed off started coming back. I rebranded everything under a new name. Mine. No shared titles. No family-run legacy slogans. Just clean, sharp work. By August we had our best quarter yet. And then, in September, my dad reached out one last time. He asked if he could take the kids for ice cream. Alone. I told him yes. Because unlike my mother, he admitted his part. He stepped back when I asked and didn't force himself where he wasn't welcome. I trusted him to sit with them, answer their questions honestly if they came, and to let them have a good day without wait. They came back smiling, sticky with chocolate and sprinkles. My daughter had a new keychain. My son had a comic book. They didn't say much about the visit and I didn't press. But later that night my daughter asked if Grandpa was sad. I said maybe. Then she asked if Grandma was sad too. I told her I didn't know. And I didn't. Because she never said a word. Not after the slap. Not after the downfall. Not even after her husband reached out again and again, trying to rebuild what little could be saved. And so we kept living. My kids grew. Our home stayed warm, loud, full of music and mess. The kind of chaos my mother would have hated. I started sleeping better. I stopped checking the family group chat because no one used it anymore. The group had splintered, naturally. Without my money holding the center, the rest drifted apart. I wasn't part of the family anymore, apparently. But I was free. The last I heard, my mother was working part-time at a boutique in a town 2 hours away. Selling other people's things. Giving up weekends. Living in a place with no fireplace, no chandelier, no table large enough to seat 10. And maybe she tells herself she chose this. That she downsized by choice. That her daughter betrayed her, turned cold, cut her out. But I didn't. She cut herself out the moment she looked me in the eye and said my children weren't welcome at the table I built. That was the last line she ever got to draw. And I haven't looked back since.